Welcome to carving number 10. Initially I planned on this being the last carving I would make a video of. This entire YouTube thing is just an experiment for me. The plan is to make a herringbone lamp. The reason for that is that I have a lot of offcuts. They are really small and I kind of like making lamps because they serve a purpose. Because there's a lot of gluing, and while glue is drying, have time to make something else. I might actually be making a second lamp at the same time. The glue up was done in the evening when I cannot be making noise. I also had a time restriction, so the glue up might not be perfect. So I went out the next morning before breakfast to see what I had done. So I did draw a few lines on the glued up pieces so I would know how to glue them up. But it took me a while to find out that I had the bigger pieces confused with each other, so they should be a different order. So I had to just flip them and then they did fit. Yay! One of them also shifted when applying clamping force. Sadly, I had to undo that work. Doing bigger sections one at a time isn't the way to go. So my ambition is to glue everything onto one of the bigger pieces, the middle one. And this time actually do a dry fit to see if my clamps are big enough and I actually have enough of them to clamp everything together. And there were a few gaps that I was hoping to fix with clamping force. Just squeeze everything together. Not sure that will work out, but that's a problem for me in a later stage. So that's most of my clamps again to get the third section glued on. After this I will still have to glue on the other bigger part that I had glued up yesterday. That will have to wait. I have to go to my actual job that does pay me. I got it all done and glued up. Good enough for now. There's a few gaps that I'll have to fix. I think between recording this audio and the last audio, like 3 weeks have passed. Main reason for that is that life happened. And I had to save a bit of money to, make sure life would continue as is. And it did. It didn't need it. And that's why in the upcoming videos there's new tools and stuff. Lots of tools that I wanted for a while but never bought. And now as a bit of a celebration I bought them. And it went pretty wild. I bought everything I wanted. And the cool part is I get to try them all on this. But first I'll get all the fixes done. If I would have spent a bit more time on the glue up, I would have saved myself a lot of time in fixing all these holes that are too big to just ignore and hope nobody will ever see them. The downside of owning tools bigger than the Dremel is that they create a lot more dust, And the next part has nothing to do with this carving, but this food is Dutch and it's called kruidkoek, or as my parents told me, paperkoek, but some people will get mad at me. I was kinda done with filling all the bigger holes, so there's a few quick fixes with a bit of sawdust and glue. Lucky for me, I do have a lot of sawdust. And this would allow me to continue with carving out the shapes and the more visual elements of the lamp itself. There's still a lot of wood that needs to be removed from the inside of it. I did get distracted again because buying more tools also required me to do something with my limited workspace to organize everything. And I bought a lot of walnut. I already went on a shopping spree, but I didn't buy a cut salt disc yet. So this is still done with the flap sanding I don't know how they're called, like abrasive paper sanding wheels. It works, but it's very dusty and it takes a lot of time. I'm not sure if the cut salt disc will be faster. I never used one. To the part that I didn't really think through on how to finish up the edges or what I wanted to do here. I might have to change it later if I want to get my lamp fitting in. That part of this carving. I want to make the lamp as thin and as light as possible. So I want to remove as much wood as I can. So I'm using the Dremel to kind of gouge how deep I would be able to go. Got distracted once again. Turns out that wet logs turn OSB panels into moldy stuff. So I had to reorganize or restack all of them again to get them less moldy. I don't know. And this might be obvious for people who once lifted up a wet log, but they are heavy. Oh, whoops, I missed the introduction of the foredom. I bought a foredom with the angle grinding attachment for a 2-inch disc, which is really awesome. I'll do a separate video on it. I would like to say, because a lot of people ask me questions, but I have like 50 views a video, so no one asked me anything. But I just couldn't find any information on the 2-inch grinder of the foredom and it being used by someone who is carving wood with it, or using the cut salt discs. No, the saber-tooth discs on them. Yeah, you just saw me do the last inlays. I don't know, fixes of bad glue up and big gaps and filling them with actual wood instead of sawdust and glue. And then it's time for a lot more sanding. Might be weird, but the flexible sanding pads are new to me as well. I never used them, but they're really great. Love them. So after spending a month on a project, you would assume someone would have figured out how to add the fitting to the light itself. If you would hang it on a single cable, it would be nice if it would stay level, which it currently doesn't. So trying to figure out how I want to attach the light bulb, what kind of light bulb I want in there. So many choices to pick from. I went with just a small bulb and decided to add a piece of wood to the top of the lamp for the plastic parts to be living in. Gluing it on was tricky. It required a few heavy things, and I just used 5-minute epoxy to actually attach the cable to the wood itself. It seems to hold up well, so I just started carving the new piece to make sure it would blend in with the rest of the lamp. I did have to work really slow. When I would hit the cable, the entire project would be ruined. I didn't know. And then it was already time for a bit of oil. Don't judge me for using a cleaning sponge to apply the oil. It worked fine, and I was out of shop towels. I'll use the oiling footage to introduce the next part. I always forget that I need something to actually attach this to the ceiling. So I found an offcut of mahogany, and I just started working on it to make something to attach it to the ceiling. And I also want to wound it over, etc. But it also needs to hold the cable. So what I'm trying to show in the video is how I drill different holes, so the cable actually stuck in them. So you can pull on, you can add some weight to it, and the lamp would not be hanging from the power connection itself. So that's what I'm trying to show you here in this part of the video. And I would understand if you feel completely lost to what I'm actually showing and what's happening. But yeah, that's your problem then. So there's two pieces. One of them will be drilled into the ceiling itself, and the other one will be holding the cable. Need some way to attach it to the other part that is connected to the ceiling. Preferably an easy way, because it's working with hands over your head and it's always annoying. And then for some reason I thought it would be nice to hide the point of connection in there's 3 holes, and I want to hide it in the middle one by using a insert in the piece that's attached to the ceiling itself. But that was becoming very tight, and I carved away pieces of wood that I would have liked to stay in place. So we'll see if it's actually strong enough in the end. I'm so happy with that disc. It took like 5 minutes to carve away all that mahogany to get it rounded over. And then I could just continue carving the small elements with the forearm, and it was already time for sanding. I didn't actually really use the angle grinder when it was held by a very small vise. Didn't feel that safe. It wasn't low speed, but then again, it's an angle grinder. So yeah, all done. Time to slap some oil on this one and then attach all of it to the ceiling. I was a bit excited to mount it, making the final reveal a bit harder to capture. I would say it is okay, and just that, okay. Really enjoyed making it. This will be in my attic, but it deserves a better spot someday. Next time I will be smart about the cable management and ceiling attachment. That's it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.